Hello students, how are you? A very warm welcome to geography class. Today we are going to have a detailed discussion about the syllabus, about the prelims and the main syllabus. As you know, this geography is the part of GS paper 1, an important part of GS paper 1 also. And geography has certain dynamic elements. Those will be covered on the current affairs part, and static part we are going to deal with. But today we'll have to see the inner view, in-depth view of the syllabus. What are the clues which has been provided by the syllabus of the UPSC, and what are the things UPSC might have kept in the mind while formulating this syllabus, isn't it? Okay, let's see. So you can see the prelim syllabus, paper 1. It consists of the 200 marks. Here our part is Indian and world geography, physical, social, economic geography of India and the world. By looking at this sentence, you can simply say ki, okay, physical part of your geography will be there, social part and economic part of geography will be there, and India and world part will be there. But here, by looking at the minutely, if you will see, then you can check that here India and world, both of the things have been written, and world geography automatically includes the Indian part, isn't it? So it means what UPSC wants, that 50% of the time you will have to devote for the Indian geography, and the remaining part of the time you will have to devote for the world geography, isn't it? So that's why the world geography automatically includes the Indian part. In the same way, here in the history of India and Indian national movement has been written. So for the other subjects I won't be dealing with, but the geography part you might be understanding. Miss, you will have to have more concentration on the Indian part. Second thing, you can say physical, social, economic geography of India, it has written, but here also one more thing has been written, that is climate change. You can see, so physical part one of the part is the climate, physical part ka, and that climatology automatically deals the change part also, but UPSC has specifically mentioned this climate change part. Means again UPSC wants from you that you will have to have give special attention to the change part of the dynamic part of the climate also, isn't it? Here also the issues on the environmental and ecology, even environmental geography is the part of physical geography also, and the same thing, the same logic is here also applied. So okay, so let's see the mains part of the syllabus, salient feature of the world's physical geography. Can you notice, have you ever noticed salient features which you can find in surrounding you? So you might be knowing that India may सबसे crucial part, that is Himalayas part, and that is the salient feature of the India's physical geography, isn't it? Even certain more parts we can say, like we are having the Vindhya and Satpura at this place, and we are having this Western Ghat on the western part of the Indian peninsula, and also we are surrounded by the ocean, isn't it? So these are the things which are unique to India, because India is surrounded by water, India is surrounded by the ocean from three parts of the our areas, isn't it? And some of the countries which we can find in the world are not having any access to the ocean, like Nepal, like Bhutan. They will have to depend on other countries. Can you imagine what kind of the disadvantageous position they have got, isn't it? But India के physical geography में there are certain more features, like we have the monsoon, that is also a specific and salient feature of Indian physical geography. The environment, why environment is the unique thing here? Because we are getting the tropical climate also, and we are getting the subtropical and temperate climate also. So that is also unique position which belongs to India only. India is the land where the Thar desert is also there, isn't it? Thar desert also there, and the wettest place on the earth is also there, that is Cherrapunji and Mausinram. ठीक है ना? तो we'll see, even this we will also see what kind of the cyclones and the impact of the cyclones are there, है ना? So it has written salient features, means all the salient features you will have to read, and not only for India, for world also, है ना? World के part में the salient features of the world physical geography, the Antarctica, isn't it? The snow laden area, unoccupied by anyone, we can say, है ना? Hardly any species we can find. And Arctic Ocean, it is now habitable because it has been melted thanks to us, isn't it? Important geophysical phenomena, earthquakes, tsunami, volcanoes, cyclones. So it has mentioned geophysical phenomena and also mentioned the name of the geophysical phenomena, that is earthquakes, tsunami, volcanoes and cyclones. We'll see how this earthquakes, tsunami are affecting the life and livelihood of the people. And third thing, it has written geographical feature and its location. We can see certain geographical features are there and its location really matters to us, as we have seen, we have said that the position of this Himalaya is really matter to us, because one thing is the geopolitical things, it has created a barrier for the India and China, that is true. But the second part, we can see that it is also a barrier for the Indian monsoon. It is also a barrier for the cold winds which are coming from the Siberian regions, isn't it? So this feature and the location is also having the advantage, and somewhere we can also find the certain disadvantages of this geographical features, like Aravali is parallel to the monsoon, so there is hardly any rainfall is there on the western part of the Rajasthan, because it is parallel to the flow of the Bay of Arabian Sea branch of this monsoon, isn't it? So we can see like certain cyclones, means here we have said that cyclones are the important geophysical phenomena. So if these cyclones are there, this tropical cyclones which are near to 0 degree cyclones are there. These cyclones, the same cyclones are called typhoons here, the same cyclones are called hurricanes here and here also. Means if this same kind of the cyclones are approaching towards America, that will be called hurricane, and in the Japan and the eastern part of the China, it will be called typhoon. And Indian part we can call tropical cyclones, and we can give the name on the basis of various nomenclature which has been provided by different countries. Here one thing I want to show you, that these areas only we can find cyclones, tropical cyclones. As the name suggests, the name is tropical, so the cyclones will be there on the tropical area only. It means the area where the sun rays are vertical, the areas where the sun rays are vertical, there you will be getting the cyclones. But whether there is any correlation between the temperature which has been received on those area with the origination of the cyclones, whether cyclones can originate on the land part also, this land part also, or whether these cyclones can originate on exactly at 0 degree also. What are the factors which are responsible? So those curiosity will be dealing here. And what are the intensity and frequency of the cyclones? Because we have seen, due to the climate change and due to the global warming, the intensity and the frequency of the cyclones have been changed. Intensity and frequency of the cyclones have been changed. And we can say every year on the eastern part of the land is facing more cyclone as compared to western part of the Indian peninsula. So whether there is any cause and effect relationship, is there any important features or important roles being played by the oceanic water which has triggered the cyclonic storms at Bay of Bengal and which is not present on the Arabian Sea? That's too UPSC wants from you to understand. You can see here the static part is definitely here. In geography, static part will always be there, like the origination of the earthquake, origination of the cyclones. But at the same time, you can implement the same thing with the dynamic part, like a specific cyclones, how it is being originated. So mechanism will always be the same, and if logical guessings you will be applying, then definitely you will be able to apply those cyclones origination, you will be able to tell and explain, even for the earthquake also, even for the volcanic eruptions also, even for the tsunami also, we can say. So yes, once you will read this subject, once you are very much comprehending this subject, you will be able to explain the current phenomena which are happening. So isn't it these things should be known to the layman also? So UPSC will want that certain things which you should be having a knowledge that should be available with you, and that knowledge you should be having even as a layman also. So UPSC can definitely ask that question. UPSC might have the license to ask these questions, isn't it? Because you will be a DM, and DM means a district mein cyclones are, then you should be aware of that, isn't it? Okay, the cyclones is one of the important geophysical phenomena. Then we have seen that earthquakes, tsunami and volcanoes are also there. One more geographical means we can say specific phenomena which has occurred already thousands of years back, and we can see simply the outcome of those results, those processes. You can see here what this feature belongs to and where it is located. This river is Colorado River. ठीक है ना? This river is Colorado River. It is too small river. But this small river can erode such a surface, a simple plain area has been eroded in such a way that it has become valley. And what this feature belongs to, means what is the name of this feature? Can anyone say? Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon. The unique features which has been provided by, which has been created and formed by this Majida mountain, means this river has created these features. How it has come into the picture? We will see two kind of things in geomorphological concepts. One thing is how a feature has been erupted and what are the processes which are operating to make it plain. Here this river is trying to make it plain. This river is trying to erode these surfaces, and it wants that simply these structures should be on the level of sea, and the forces which we will be getting from inside of the earth will be forcing to rise these hills and the mountains to the upper level. So whole of the geomorphology और physical geography का job होगा कि एक area को land को uplift करना है, another area को plane करना, isn't it? So the forces from inside will be operating to lift it up, and forces from outside will be operating to make it plane, isn't it? So these kind of features we will have to understand. Even all the Hollywood movies you might have observed, many of the Hollywood movies have been shooted on these places only, because these are the critical geographical features. You should be able to explain these things, isn't it? Okay, these features, like what are the process which has been operated on this area. You can see horizontal lines. What are the inferences which you can draw? First inferences, means it's a very good place where I should be spending some time. The first thing is that. But second thing, as a student of the geography, as a student of the UPSC, you can see there is a horizontal similarity. Horizontal similarity means wherever the whitish line is there, those has been formed at the same age. Thousands, it might have happened thousands of years back it has been formed together, and later on multiple layers of the formation was there. Can you see? So that's why the horizontal similarity is there. In here also horizontal similarity is there. Means earlier these upper portion wouldn't have been there, and later on it has been deposited. But how it has come into the surface? How we are able to observe these features? Certain sandpaper activity might have also been worked here. Someone has made it smooth, and that someone might be wind, and that someone might be ocean or river also. But here the river and ocean cannot be here, cannot be the reason. But here we can definitely say, because winds are blowing horizontally, even the horizontal motion of the air is the wind, and if horizontal motion is there, it might be eroding in the same way fashion, isn't it? Okay, so on the arid region, on the dry region where the moisture is less, there the phenomena which is working is the air, isn't it? So these features, how you are able to explain if you don't have the knowledge of the property of the winds and how it is working for the formation and deformation, you will not be able to explain those things. ठीक है ना? Even this surfaces also, like Aladdin का चिराग जैसा लग रहा है, but it is present in the earth. Like this feature, it is Mount Popa. Mount Popa. It is pilgrimage center. But how to reach here and how this has been formed? So by looking at this picture, not the upper part we are saying, but this part, by looking at this picture, what are the phenomena which has been observed? What are the inferences, what are the processes which has been operated? Means you cannot find any hills here, you cannot find any hills here, but only this part has been suddenly erupted. So whether along with this part it was, whether a gentle sloping was there, it might be there, but whether the gentle slip, where those gentle sloping have gone, how to explain? I will explain, like it might have been made up of the soft rock, it might have been made up of the soft rock, and this rock is the hard one, so that's why this part is eroded, this part is eroded, the left one is, you can see. Or else I can say the upper layer of this mountain is having capping of the iron, means it is made up of the iron or any kind of the metal which has restricted the erosion of that area. So that is the second inferences. The same thing you will have to explain by looking at the critical geographical features, how it has made up of, and what will be its future, how it will look like in the future, isn't it? Fine. In the same fashion, here also you can see the vertical lands, the vertical slopes are there. Here and sudden valley, then vertical slopes are there, then valley, then slopes are there. How it has been formed, whether those things were attached and later on it has been separated. दो भाई थे एक साथ पैदा हुए, कुंभ के मेले में पिछड़ गए. And you can see the means you can see the fogs here, means the clouds here you can see. So it should be having on the very high altitude, because its altitude is more than this one, surely. So yes, how these features have been erupted. We will see in this GS paper 1 what UPSC wants to you, ki important geophysical phenomena you should be able to observe. Other important geophysical phenomena is the earthquake. Like by looking at the figures of the 2021, you can see recently in 2021 New Zealand on New Zealand there was 8.1 earthquake was there. In the same New Zealand, near to this New Zealand, there is 7.7 earthquake was there. 7.4 the New Zealand, the same part. The China 7.3, New Zealand 7.3, Japan, Indonesia, all belongs to Pacific Ocean. So whether any, means even for the layman also it can say कि if all the earthquakes are happening on the Pacific area, there is something is being cooked by Pacific Ocean, isn't it? कुछ तो हो रहा है in the Pacific Ocean. That's why it's, multiple times earthquakes are there, isn't it? So whether are you able to have any explanation, means do you have any explanation for this kind of the earthquake? I'm not going to read for earthquake, I'm not going to read everything about all kinds of the earthquake. I will be simply reading what is happening on the Pacific Ocean. If I know what is happening on the Pacific Ocean, I'll be able to explain. You definitely, that will be the same reason. That is the beauty of the geography, that you can implement your knowledge. Even for the economics also, you can implement your knowledge on the current happenings. Why government has taken these steps. Fine. Okay. You can see on this area, Australia ke paas mein there is a New Zealand, and New Zealand ke paas here also the earthquake was there. At this land also the earthquake was there, and this Carmatic here earthquake was there. At this place near to this area, this Gisborne, on this area also the earthquake was there, isn't it? So wherever the earthquakes will be there, can you predict कि there will be tsunami? Or else you can say कि whether there will be multiple waves of the earthquakes will be there. You might have observed that once tsunami is there, the waves, the height of the waves, the tides, which we can say the height of the waves are too high on the coastal area, around 15 meter. It might go to. And also wherever the earthquake is there, you might have observed multiple tremors of the earthquake are there. Means today it has shook the land, tomorrow also, and day after tomorrow also. Means there is certain kind of the adjustment which has been taken place. And wherever the earthquakes are there, the energy is being originated on certain places and it has its effect on another places. Like you can see this picture, this building has been collapsed, but the energy is traveling below the crust, isn't it? And that energy, if you are able to understand, then you will be able to say ki how much might be the devastation and how much might be the energy of those waves were there. So earthquakes belongs to the P waves, S waves and surface waves. So these waves are providing energy to the surface of the earth. But suppose you have felt, means you are a layman, you don't have any kind of the sensors, isn't it? So you are a layman, you have simply reading NCRTs, isn't it, on sitting on the table. Then you felt certain waves from inside. You thought, okay, these waves have gone, now I should concentrate on the NCRTs. Then another wave came through. Again you have thought of, okay, simply I'll be going through the NCRTs, I'll have to finish this NCRTs today itself. And I was reading the NCRTs of the history. I have not completed the NCRTs of the geography. If I would have completed the NCRTs of the geography, definitely I would have taken a pillow on my head. I would have run away, because I cannot say that wave was the more devastating, or the waves which will be coming will be more devastating. That waves which has approached to me might be just an indicator that more tremors will be there. So if you have not revised NCRT properly and you are not serious aspirants of the UPSC, you will not be able to say, okay, okay, earthquake, okay, means you will not be able to taking the things lightly, isn't it? So that is the earthquake. You will have to explain. As I have told you, tsunami. For the tsunami also, the earthquakes are the responsible reason for the generation of the tsunami. If the earthquake is having the focus below the ocean, then it may generate tsunami also. But for the tsunami, at least you will be having the early tsunami warning. So that is good. 4 hours you will be getting. But for this part, you will not be getting if the earthquake is there on the land part. And particularly if you are preparing on the Delhi, then it is quite difficult, because that area is very much near to the Himalayan region, and that's why it might be devastating for you also. So you will have to understand those things. The ultimate things are there. So you can see how waves propagates, and if you know the property of the propagation of the waves, you will be able to explain those earthquakes. Volcanic eruptions. Recently volcanic eruption was there in Iceland, and this is the real picture which is there. You can see volcanic eruption. Whether within India, the earthquake can be there, volcanic eruption can be there, or there are specific areas where the volcanic eruption can be there. But India, there is very minimal chances that volcanic eruptions will be there, because the conditions which are required for the eruptions of the volcano are not present in India. But for the earthquake, we can say yes, there are certain conditions which are there, like Himalayas are being originated, Himalayas is being erupted still, and the height of the mountain is still increasing. So we can say that there might be the earthquake. But on Himalayan region, can you find any traces of the volcano? So India presently only the earthquake are there, but the volcanoes, the chain of the volcanoes are not present in India. But we have certain volcanoes at places, that is Andaman Nicobar, along Barren Island. We have volcanoes, and again there are certain reasons which are responsible for the generation of the volcanoes, and even whether volcanoes will blast or whether volcanoes will simply erupt like a liquid, that also depends upon on which area it is being erupted. So please be relaxed, the aspirants which are belonging to Delhi, please be relaxed, volcanic eruption might not be there, and presently there is no condition which are operating volcanoes will be there. But if you are there on Indonesia, if you are there on the Italy, I'll be saying okay, there could be the volcanic eruptions. So recently Iceland, you have seen this volcanic eruptions. So we have found certain areas where the volcanic eruption can be there. You can see here, and there is surely an similarity. Even India we kuch area pe, ek chota sa area pe we have this volcanic eruption chances here also. So major volcanoes might be found in the Iceland also. You can means the whole of the Iceland is because of the volcanic eruption only. It has been found because of the volcanic eruption only. In the same way, the whole of the Mount Hawaiian island is also made up of this volcanic eruption only. Critical geographical features, how to explain those things, because we need to have, we cannot have the cap on the volcanoes, but we can have certain prediction on the basis of it. We can save certain life. So that is the job. if prediction you have done the prediction properly that there could be volcanic eruption or there is certain halchal and inside the volcanoes, then you can say ki, okay, I should be giving the orders that those areas should be avoiding, means the people should avoid those areas. Even for volcanic eruptions, I had told you कि Hawaiian Island on this area, Hawaiian Island, Honolulu is the capital. है Hawaiian Island, Mauna Kea, Mauna Loa, whole of the Mauna जो है ना, that is because of this volcanic eruption only. Even these are the 4 kilometers tall mountains, and it has been created by this volcanic eruption only. You can see the present pictures of this. So you have understood how volcanoes can operate, है ना, कैन ऑपरेट ऑन विच एरिया इट कैन ऑपरेट, साइक्लोन्स कहाँ पे हो सकते हैं, अर्थक्वेक्स का थोड़े बारे में समझे हम लोग ने. देन geographical features and its location. Certain geographical features and geographical terms which we are using interchangeably sometimes, like sometimes we say gulf, sometimes we say bay. वो अबे चुब्बे वाला नहीं है, that is BAY, bay. Gulf, sometimes we say lake, sometimes we say sea. So what are the differences, है ना, and how those are the things which has been found. What is exact definition? In geography you should be knowing कि technical words matters a lot, and technical words saves lots of the words for you. Technical words, ठीक है ना, use technical words in order to save sentences, so that you can present more and more words for explanation of the things rather than explaining the technical words only. ठीक है ना, okay. तो you should be able to explain how mountains has been formed, how this plain has been formed, how this peninsula has been formed, how this river is being originated, what is the property of this river. Two things I can see कि whether river was first or mountain was later, or mountain was first or river was later, because valley has been created. So valley was created because of the river only, or once mountain has been formed, then later on because of the flow of the river those valleys has been created. तो मुर्गा पहले आया कि अंडा पहले आया कि मुर्गा, those kind of things will be explaining on this geography कि whether river was पहले कि whether mountain was पहले, isn't it? Okay. And climate, हाँ, इसमें one more thing, climate and disaster related. These things are also the scope of this geography. Disaster में recently in Maharashtra there was landslide, and there are 2 back-to-back disasters could be there. Let's just check. If a river is there and flood is there in the river, if it is flood, it might be because of the cloud burst. So cloud burst is there, so that's why river में flood है. If river flood is there, then landslide can be there. If landslide be there, there could be flood. How? सोचो, like suppose cloud burst is there, means there is a short time में more rainfall is there, within the short time more rainfall. ये radio frequency ने rainfall है. So more rainfall if it is there, the area which belongs to the hilly area, the upper layer will be drenched, and the soil is wet and soil is heavy, and those will be poured down in the form of landslide. अब suppose what is happening, this landslide has obstructed the pathway of the roads, है ना, it has obstructed the pathway of the roads, so it may also obstruct the pathway of the rivers also. So अब if river is flowing like this and there is a landslide जहाँ पे हो गया अच्छे से, so river will take this path, and on those areas where river was never there, there will be flood. So landslide may also trigger the flood, and flood may trigger this landslide, and there is a vicious cycle, isn't it? So disaster. This flood may also trigger vector-borne diseases like dengue. Vector-borne diseases, dengue, malaria, it can also trigger. Contamination of the water is there, isn't it? So you can see how disasters are interrelated. If you are not able to have complete control on disaster, or proper prompt action if you are not taking, it may turn into another disaster. And like we had said at the time of the Britishers, the famine was there in Bengal, and that famine was mainly because of the natural reason, rainfall was not there. But two back-to-back famines was there for continuous consecutive years. It is because of the poorly managed famine. If it is not properly managed, then hunger and poverty will be aggravated, and because of that more and more deaths will be there, and there are multiple repercussions like education, health, means long-term implications are there. ठीक है ना? So you should be knowing disaster, because most of the disaster are climatic or geographical in nature, है ना? So you should be able to understand and explain how disaster has happened. And DM का काम है, DM I had told you कि DM का काम है disaster management. Disaster management can be done by having DM, right time पे right DM, right decision making. Fine. Climate, change in the climate. The climate को अगर define करना है तो temperature and the precipitation. These are the two things. If you are able to explain, so more or less you will be able to say the climate of those area belongs to that area, means it belongs to that. Like where the temperature is huge and humidity is also huge, there the climate will be kind of tropical climate. Where the evaporation is more and precipitation less. Precipitation means rainfall or snowfall, whatever. Wherever the evaporation is more and precipitation is less, there those areas can turn into semi-desert and desert, isn't it? So climate plays an important role, because if climate is supportive, vegetation will be there, and vegetation means agriculture, and agriculture means India ka economy. And if India ka economy is good, then purchasing power. If purchasing power is there, means other goods will and services will also flourish. There will be demand of the other goods and services, because India may 75% rural area is dependent on agriculture only. Rural area I am saying, not, and agriculture is having 14% contribution. So this agriculture is dependent on the climate, and climate means temperature and precipitation. If precipitation is less, agriculture will be failed. ठीक है ना? Last 4 to 5 years we are having the bumper crop, है ना? 291 million ton we are having the cereal crops. ठीक है ना? Okay. So critical geographical features, flora and fauna, and the changes and effect thereof. What are the critical geographical features? Flora and fauna. So here it shows that there is a scope of the biology in the geography also, and there is a environment scope is also there. And what are the changes which are happening? Like we can say that there is sparrows are missing, and crows are more, pigeons are more. If you will go to Delhi, you will see more and more pigeons are there, and we can not find any birds. Only the pigeon and the crow are there. So there are we can see many kinds of birds. Even 99% of certain species of the vultures are completely wiped out. From last 40 years, 50% of the species we have lost in India, thanks to us. है ना? कितना अच्छे से काम कर रहे हैं. Flora and fauna, and those flora and fauna are dependent on the soil and the climate, isn't it? If soil is supportive, less eroded, fertile soil is there, then vegetation will be good. If vegetation is good, then definitely it will be supporting more and more species. So geographical features, like what kind of soil is there? Like western part of the Western Ghat, every year you will be finding many toads have been found. किसी toads का bubble है, किसी toads का head है, कुछ है. So many kinds of the species we can find on the western part of the Western Ghat. Though we belong to 2.4% of the land, but we have more than 7% of the biodiversity richness. ठीक है ना? So you can see India is gifted country, है ना? Gifted country naturally, and humans are also gifted that they want to destroy those gifts, isn't it? Flora and fauna, and what are the changes? Like in the ocean, small 0.5 degrees Celsius temperature may wipe out 50% of the population of the ocean. Simple 0.5 degrees Celsius, because species of the ocean have never learned to adapt with the changing temperature of the water bodies, because ocean doesn't change its temperature too frequently, be it summer, be it winter, and they are not very well adapted. The features means that the creatures of the ocean are not very well adapted, while on the land temperature the range of the temperature is huge, within a day also, within a season also. So land animals are adapted for many kinds of the changes in the climate, but ocean is not adapted. So the change in the climate will impact oceanic life more compared to the land life. And wherever ocean meets with the continent, those areas are the zone of the high diversity productivity, high diversity richness. We also call it ecotone. Okay, so these critical features geography as related to the temperature and precipitation only, and the property of the soil only, isn't it? So you should be able to explain those things. Like I had told you recently, the cyclones were that super cyclone, Amphan cyclone was there 2020 May, and Tokte cyclone was there on the western part of this Indian peninsula. It was extremely severe cyclones, and it is super cyclones, means it is beyond an imagination, we can say. So how these cyclones has been categorized? Are you able to explain those cyclones, and how the nomenclature of the cyclones are there? UPSC asked that question, how the nomenclature of those cyclones are there. Okay. So you can see in India, so again I have told you trend. What are the trends? 124 tropical cyclones have been recorded in 2020, and 95 named cyclones we have seen. 1200 fatalities are there, and $60 billion का loss है हमारे यहाँ because of this only. इतने cyclones आ रहे हैं, and the intensity of the frequency of the cyclones have been changed due to the climate change. So natural disaster, as I had told you, many kind of the natural disaster, drought, forest fire, and a bushfire, जो Australia में recently you might have heard, landslide in Maharashtra, I had told you, tsunami in Japan, you can see, earthquake, pura northern India, and there is a earthquake, chances of the earthquake, flood, Bihar and Assam, every year there is a flood, but still we are not able to manage. Ironically, drought, every year in Maharashtra there is a drought. In eastern part of the Maharashtra there is a drought, and western part of the Maharashtra there is a flood every year, but you are not able to do anything. Means whether there is certain things which is are there on your hand, everything is there on the hand of God. Pessimistic, if you are not able to do anything, that is pessimistic thought. But you should be having optimistic, that you can have certain mitigation, you can surely have certain shelter zones, you can predict how much rainfall might be there. So you have best of the capabilities. Nowadays Google will be able to tell you that tomorrow will be rainfall, and accurately they are saying that yes, tomorrow will be rainfall, or day after tomorrow there will be rainfall, or there will be drought, isn't it? Fine. Desertification, you can see that is also there somewhere at some places, and rise in the sea level is also at some places. You can see this Gulf of Mexico. You can see how rise in sea level is there. Even 6-meter rise, if it will be there, it will be encroaching many parts of the land. And the same case for the India also, means this Andaman Lakshadweep will not be there, isn't it? And the Maldives is already is thinking of what will happen to the existence of the Maldives, which is itself is the island. They are trying to make boundaries surrounding the oceans so that their lands can be saved. So yes, we will have to do something. So there is a change in the sea level, and it is because of the excessive melting of the Arctic Ocean and Antarctic Ocean. Melting means snow ka melting. Even you can say here in the desertification, the Sahara desert is there. Sahara, it is not giving Sahara to any other things, but in this Sahara desert you can see on these areas, you can see 1984 to 2019, you can see how this Sahara desert is being spreaded. Within 20 to 30 years timeline, you can observe this phenomena. Then what might be happening after thousands of years or hundreds of years, isn't it? Though उस समय तक हम लोग नहीं रहेंगे, but at least you will have to do certain things so that your future generation should not be cursing you, है ना? आपको ऐसा श्राप तो नहीं देना चाहिए, isn't it? Global warming and its impact, it has impact on the aquatic environment, flora, fauna, mangroves, coral is bleached out, forest loss is there, migration is there, increasing disease risk is there. We have seen recently melting of Arctic Ocean is there, change in the climate, rising in the sea level. So there are many things which are directly and indirectly attached to the geography. ठीक है ना. So those features you will have to understand, means connections, how those are being connected. Those are the scope of the UPSC examination. This UPSC examination is not about learning the things, it is about understanding the things, comprehending the things and analyzing the things, how to implement those knowledges. ठीक है ना. So these are the books which you can refer for GS paper 1. This GC Leong है ना. You will have to read GC Leong, and Geography of India by Majid Hussain you can go for, or else you can go for Khuller. But Khuller देखते देखते इतनी मोटी हो गई कि it is difficult कि we are able to complete it. But still, if you are a student of the geography optional, rather than going for the Majid Hussain, you can go for the Khuller. ठीक है ना, dear Khuller. Oxford Student Atlas है ना, Student Atlas I am talking about. And Oxford Student Atlas for India, you will have to see the latest edition along with the Hindu, because what are the current happenings which are there, and also you can see that many environmental news will be there for on the Hindu. You can go for it. And these are this is certificate of physical geography. Now ये black हो गया, and this one Geography of India, ठीक है ना, and this Atlas, ठीक है. These 3 books you will have to buy. For the NCERT part, you can start from class 11th NCERT. These 2 parts are the Bible of the NCERT. I have comprehensively completed these 2 parts in the lectures, in the upcoming lectures. You can see fundamental of the physical geography, Indian physical and environment. Class 11th NCERT, along with this fundamental of human geography and Indian people and economy. These are the parts of human part of the geography, and this is the physical part of geography. These are the physical part of the geography. Once if you are not able to understand the concept of the class 11th fundamental physical geography or Indian physical, then you can go back to the class 10th also. This part you can see contemporary India 2 part, and here also you can see 9th May you can go for this, means up to class 6 you can go, and उससे beyond मत जाना. So NCERTs are important, and for other subjects also I have mentioned NCERTs, but you can also refer to the teachers what other teachers are suggesting, ठीक है ना. So these are the list of books which you will have to have. So first, in order to summarize, these 2 books surely you should be having for Indian part of geography and GC Leong. These 2 books you should be definitely having, and along with the notes which will be provided by this and NCERT का class 11th है ना. These 2 books are very much important. You will have to finish these 2 things first. So this part has been completed, and next classes you will be seeing the introduction of the geomorphology, introduction of the climatology, and also you can go for the NCERTs का जो lecture series है, those for those you can go for. And in the meantime you can start reading those NCERTs books. Fine. Bye. Take care.